Hi everyone! Today I'm going to share with you 3 tomato pruning techniques that can help boost your harvest and control tomato disease. Now, tomatoes are such a fun summer vegetable to grow, but they are prone to diseases at some point during the growing season. So just know that, manage your expectations, and just because your tomato plant gets a disease doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something wrong. But with these 3 easy pruning techniques, you can have more tomatoes to harvest and help control tomato disease in your garden. Here I've got a couple of tomato plants that have been growing this raised bed for about 6 weeks, and pruning really helps just manage the size of your tomato plants, allows for better light penetration to the plant, which does indeed boost your harvest. The first pruning technique that I like to do is to prune the bottom 6 inches of leaves from the plant to allow for better air circulation under the plant, reducing the risk of soil-borne disease, again managing the plant size, and creates a nice clear stem at the bottom of the plant. So first off, you need a nice sharp pair of clean pruners. I like these because of the longer precision tip, allows for more precise pruning. Make sure they're clean and clean them with alcohol in between each plant. So we're going to get in here and just take a look at this plant. And ideally you want to do this as your plants grow. Some of these branches on the bottom are just a little bit too big. I'm not going to prune that one, but I am going to go in here and prune this leaf right here. So it does create a nice clear stem and allows for a lot more airflow. It's another leaf I'm going to prune, or branch I'm going to prune, and you do want to prune it at the very end of the branch here, as close to the main stem as you can. Being careful, of course, not to touch the main stem. This branch here is a little bit more than 6 inches off the ground, but if you see, this leaf is almost touching the ground. And we don't want the leaves touching the ground because it does help increase the risk of soil-borne disease. So I'm actually just going to cut this right here so the leaf doesn't touch the ground anymore. So right now I've got one more branch around the other side to trim. And I'm not going to trim this because it is a pretty large stem that looks like it could be a pretty good production stem. So right now I've got about 6 inches clear at the bottom of the plant. Tomato pruning tip number 2 is to prune the suckers. Now let me show you what a sucker is on a tomato plant. It's basically the tiny little tomato stem that is growing in the armpit of 2 tomato branches. So here we've got a tiny little sucker. And the reason why we want to prune the suckers is because, number 1, it helps manage the size of the tomato plant. This stem here could grow to be a full-sized stem, which would really make this plant get out of control. So not only to manage the size, but also to direct more of the plant's energy towards fruit production on the main stems here. So in order to prune the suckers, what you want to do is first identify the suckers, and you want to try and prune them when they're fairly small, like this one is. What you can do is just gently bend the sucker to break it, like so. It works really well when it's nice and small. Or if you have a larger sucker, like we do right here. See, here's the armpit of the tomato stem here, the tomato branches. The sucker is the branch that comes out in between. You can get in here with your precision pruners and make a nice sharp cut on that sucker. And there you go. You want to check your tomato plants about once a week or so and go around and prune the suckers and prune the bottom. And by doing this, you direct more of the plant's energy into producing fruit on the main stems, so you really boost your harvest. And the cool thing about these suckers is you can actually root them in a glass of water. They will grow and produce a brand new tomato plant for you, which is a clone of the original plant. The third tomato pruning technique is to prune the yellowing leaves. Yellowing leaves can be a sign of some type of disease, and it's super important to remove them. Prune them off as soon as you see them. Now, typically they start at the bottom of the plant and work their way up. So keep an eye on it and check your plants on a regular basis to take them off to really help control the spread of the disease. And what you want to do when you're taking off the yellowing leaves is not just take off the leaves, but take off the entire branch itself and cut it as close to the main stem as possible, being really careful not to damage the main stem. And then you do want to throw these in your green bin. You don't want to compost them, but dispose of them so the disease does not spread to other plants and does not spread to your compost. So here we're just going to go in here and trim these off, and it will really help the plant be healthier. And you can see we also created a lot more airflow here underneath the plant, which helps the leaves stay dry and helps the plant be healthier. Along with these pruning techniques, it's really important that you keep your plants well watered, well fertilized throughout the summer season, and provide them with a really good trellis for support to help with the airflow as well. So follow these 3 tips: pruning the bottom 6 inches, pruning the suckers, and pruning the yellowing leaves as soon as you see them for increased production throughout the summer and to have healthier plants. Comment below, let me know how things are going with your tomato plants this summer. Have any disease shown up? Have you harvested any? I would love to hear about it. And head over to CallieKimGardeningHome.com. It's hard to believe it's almost the first day of summer. I'm having a summer solstice sale, 25% off with the code HelloSummer off all my seed collections, Callie Kim Smart Pots, books, and garden kits. And there's only one more week to grab your June Grow Your Groceries with Callie Kim subscription box. Use the code JUNESUBBOX to get $5 off. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next video.